And then let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum, this is a monthly chart again. It's been kind of trading in this sort of
It's a
wedge
massive
pattern.
wedge. Jeez.
So which I mean, this wedge kind of runs out, I don't know, 2027.
Yeah, halfway through
But
27.
yeah, so like I don't know what's gonna happen after that, but at least if it stays within this wedge, I think like the end of 2025, if the bull market tops out again, that puts the price around 18K for Ethereum, I believe. So
That's actually
that's
substantially higher than some of
yeah,
the projections that are. Whereas,
yeah.
where on the flip side, our Bitcoin projection is quite lower than some of what other people have seen.
Yeah, that's interesting because
Yeah,
like I've heard the same thing, like people saying that the next, Bitcoin is going to $500,000 or like
yeah,
1 million or whatever. And then people are saying that like Ethereum would probably just hit $10,000 and that's it.
yeah. I
So
mean, if
it's
Bitcoin
like,
goes to
I don't know,
500,
looking at the chart at least and the patterns that I'm seeing, that
yeah,
it's around $18,000 for Ethereum, and then 120 to $130,000 for Bitcoin. So
yeah.
we'll have
Which,
to see.
yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see how it plays out. We're
We can
definitely,
check back.
yeah, we'll update. Obviously, the
We'll check
information
back into
changes. Yeah,
this
and we'll be,
2 years later.
yeah, exactly. Or even, on a running basis, just come pop back in, see how our model is adjusting or how our model is, holding up with what actually happens, and
Yeah,
we'll
and
see.
and you can see like, so the indicator, it's printed bear at the top, bull at the bottom. We had a bear close to the last stop too, and we still haven't got a bull signal because like, Ethereum has just been lagging a little bit, but we can see the
Yeah,
strength band starting to turn
starting to
green.
flip. Yeah.
So I think we should get a bull signal soon. But
Also, as an aside from, obviously there is the news, there's the like ETF, and obviously
Ethereum
Ethereum
is getting one
is
too,
part of
right?
that too. Exactly, Ethereum has applications out by major institutional players for ETFs as well. But also, it's interesting to note that while the ETF approvals keep getting pushed back and back and back, there are things that cannot be pushed back, like the Bitcoin halving event that is on the books. It's happening end of April.
April, right?
Like, it will happen, and the amount of new Bitcoin entering circulation will be cut in half from that point moving forward forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a major, major event on top of, like, the whole ETF thing.
Supply shock, yeah.
And
So
then,
like,
yeah, and then when we're talking about supply shock, if we look at Ethereum as well, Ethereum in the past market cycles that we're seeing on the screen here, in those cycles, Ethereum has been an inflationary token where new Ethereum is entering the market every 16 seconds with each block that gets discovered. And since Ethereum has shifted to its proof of stake model now, if you've been paying attention kind of in the crypto space, that was like big news maybe 6 months ago or so, where the Ethereum blockchain moved away from consuming a bunch of electricity into a much more economic or ecologically friendly system where
right.
it doesn't require anywhere near as much electricity now. But as part of that migration in a consensus mechanism, the token itself is now being destroyed for each transaction that is broadcast to the blockchain. And with the recent volume of transactions on chain, the amount of tokens being destroyed is actually outpacing the amount of tokens being minted or issued into circulation. And
Mm-hmm.
so this bull market is going to be the very first time in the history of Ethereum where we're experiencing, a bull market on price action while we're also experiencing a deflationary pressure on the supply. So I think that's very interesting, and that
Awesome.
probably like lines up with why our projection is so much higher for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, where you know
Right.
that's kind of a new thing. Like with Bitcoin, where I was like, oh, there's things you can't change about Bitcoin, like the halving event. Yeah, that halving
Right, right.
event has been on the books since 2008, like day one of the Bitcoin blockchain launch. Everyone knew there was going to be a halving event happening. You know,
Yeah.
13 years
Yeah,
later or
it
whatever.
was coded in, yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't a surprise. Whereas what we're looking at with Ethereum, that wasn't part of the game plan starting out.
Right.
So having this transition to a deflationary asset class, that I'm very excited to see how that fares in a bull market, especially considering that Ethereum is, the flagship of decentralized finance and smart contract ecosystems. So
I mean, yeah, this is great because like you understand the tokenomics way better than I do. For like, you know,
I
for
geek
me,
out.
like I'm just looking at it from a chart perspective and from like TA stuff, and I'm like, oh, it seems to be following this pattern.
Yeah.
And if it still stays, which it should stay within the pattern, then that puts it around like $18,000 at, you know, like 2025.
Yeah.
The end of 2025, you know, basically.